this talk about marathons and running, Heather left the building. She's gone. She went for a run, so I'm here holding down the fort with AntarcticMike. You inspired Heather, she left. Okay, so you and I were talking, and then I went to your website. I didn't realize you ran in Antarctica a 26-mile marathon, and then you went back and did 62 and a half miles?
I went 11 months later for the following season, yes.
Okay, we have to know your story because I don't understand. I mean, you're a professional speaker.
Yeah.
And we know one another through National Speakers Association.
Right.
Tell me your story, because this is what you built your whole career on. And the reason that I wanted you here is that you have skill sets that you acquired that you go out and speak to corporations about.
Right.
What you've learned.
Right.
Okay.
The story basically boils down to, I have always been fascinated with Antarctic history. I know a lot about the exploration history back 100, 200 years ago. And the reason that those stories were so magnetic was because here you have these human beings that intentionally go to a place that's difficult and dangerous, and yet they intentionally decided to set a goal and conquer something that seemed impossible. And to me, that was very inspiring. So me going to Antarctica...
Seems like a lot of work.
Well, it was really my way of, I mean, all the other runners that went were hardcore runners, and they were going to run. Now, I'm an athlete, but more importantly, I'm an avid fan of Antarctic history. So I really went to get a taste of what my heroes 100 years ago went through. It was like being in a time machine going backwards. So that's really the reason I went.
Okay, but it turned out to be so much more.
It did, because... And the message that I teach to companies is, it's not about cold weather or Antarctica or about running. It's about the principles that led me to that and got me through it that I think are the most universal and applicable, whether you're talking about to businesses, to moms, to school kids, or whoever.
Okay, so what are some of those principles? Because I'm assuming you learned them while training to go to Antarctica.
I did. A combination of both the training as well as the 2 trips that I took there.
Okay, so we live in San Diego, and it's very easy to train here for some triathlon or Ironman in Hawaii. Okay?
Sure.
So how did you prepare yourself? Like, I don't even want to go back to Minnesota in the winter.
Right,
Right. How did you do this? How did you prepare?
Well, that's the first thing. After I actually was on a radio show, and I sort of got on air by accident. It was my first time ever on a sports talk show, and I didn't realize they were putting me on air, and I told the story of how I wanted to go to Antarctica and run this marathon, and then I hung the phone up and I thought, I just committed to, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people listening. How am I going to train? That was the exact thought I had. We live in San Diego.
Right, you just promise you're going to do it and then you don't do it. That's what I did.
Well, that's a way to really hold yourself accountable.
I know.
Just tell your goals to the world, and then you're on the hook.
Okay.
So what I did was I said, I've got to find a freezer. That was literally the first thought in my mind. So I get the yellow pages out. This is going back, so I mean, I didn't even get on the internet. I got the yellow pages out, and I didn't even know what heading to look under. I mean, our freezers under F for freezers, I for ice, P for penguins. I mean, where is it? So I went to the I's, and I said ice. And I literally started calling every single phone number listed that had the word ice in it. Said, hi, this is Mike. I'm going to go to Antarctica and run this marathon. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm a little bit. This is not a crank call. I mean, it was literally like that. And being that I have a sales background, I'm kind of used to, no, people are,
sure.
All that. Finally, I get a company, and the gal's kind of excited. Wow, this is a great story, but I can't give you permission because I'm not the manager. So I leave this voicemail for the manager, leave another one. He doesn't call me back. Finally, I say, I'm going to go show up. It's a freezer facility in Miramar here in San Diego. It's a big freezer facility. So I literally showed up in my Antarctic parka, my mucklucks. I mean, I have the whole outfit. And it's like 80 degrees. I'm standing there. My face is covered. And I knock on the guy's door. I said, Josh, it's AntarcticMike. I'm serious. I'm here. I really want to run in your freezer. So he wasn't the owner. We had to get the owner involved.
Okay.
Who's a Hungarian guy, hardly speaks English, lives in Pasadena, and never comes to San Diego. I thought, this is going to be a really hard sales job getting this guy, to go in. So anyway, I finally leave this guy messages. I send him emails. Finally, he calls me back. You won't believe this story. He goes, Mike, you won't believe this. I used to own a business in Antarctica. I said, Really? You're the 10th one today? No, I said, what did you do? He said, I had an engineering company that built what's called the closed loop system for all the water and diesel fuel at McMurdo Sound. It's the largest research facility in Antarctica.
Okay.
I said, you're kidding. He goes, oh, this is great. And you can come over to my freezer and train. I'm so inspired. So that's how I got in the freezer.
So did you run in place? Did you have a machine? I mean,
no.
First run back and forth to one wall to the other wall.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
No way.
Because of a couple reasons. Number one, anything electric in that, it's 15 degrees below zero. Okay, because that's where they store ice cream
Sure.
and stuff. So anything electronic or battery powered, watches,
just wouldn't work.
doesn't work. So plus, I mean, getting a treadmill in and out of there on a forklift, and I'm like, because this is a place of business. I mean, people earn their living, moving commerce in and out of there. So I can't be getting in the way. So I would literally just run back and forth.
How many
between
feet was it?
The freezer I trained in most often was 59 feet at its widest point. So you have to divide 59 feet into 5,280, figure out how many times you have to go for a mile. And then I used to set buckets of ice cream on the floor as mile markers. And I'd build pyramids. And if I saw a pyramid, I know there's a 5-mile pyramid, a 5-mile pyramid. Because some of the runs, I've run 31 miles in that freezer in 59
one time?
feet. Yeah.
In one
8-hour hit.
So people would be working there, walking by, hey, Mike, how you doing? And just,
oh yeah, they called me the Arctic idiot.
Okay, so we definitely have to come into, now that we know the backstory,
Right.
what you learned, because one, we know you're not claustrophobic. Two, we know you don't get dizzy running back and forth.
True.
But I mean, these are hardcore principles that you learn, because what we want to do is give our moms tools that they can use to be confident when they
Right.
are getting the hang-ups
Right.
on, no, or even just boosting them and taking their perception of themselves and what they're
Right.
capable of doing to a new level.
Right.
And maybe getting me back into running.
Right.
That'd be good. That'd be really good.
We'll get Janet.
Yeah, now Heather's gone. She's going to come back all happy-dappy. I ran a lot, a long way. So this is awesome, and I'm really excited to have you here. So we will, I know we have a graphic of a
Okay.
couple of points,
Okay.
but if there's more of your story, we need to know that. And also, go to momstown.com, sign up for our newsletter, because we will be putting Mike's tips in the next newsletter. So if you don't have a pencil, you can check them out on the newsletter. And also, email us at bigbreak@momstown.com. Tell us how crazy